Alright guys, so today is the second try of the Huda Beauty Foundation, the Faux Filter Foundation with the primer that came with it, the Complexion Perfection Pre-Makeup Base. So we're going to give this a try today and see if this helps make the foundation last a little bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up carefully here and see what it does for the face. So it looks like it's just a white primer. Just gonna grab a little bit here and just dab some on my face. Whew, this is kind of sticky. So I get what people are talking about, that it feels like a glue. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and rub that in my face. This does have a scent to it, but nothing like the foundation. The scent to this one, it smells a little bit like cinnamon. So that's interesting. It has like a cinnamony kind of smell to it. I'm hoping that this will make the foundation last a little bit longer on my face. I'm not too excited about having to actually purchase the foundation primer for the foundation. It should pretty much work with any primer that you have. So hopefully we'll just see how that works. So I'm not too sure what the ingredients here on the primer is, but I will list it down below if you're interested in that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let this sit for a minute and see what that does. I'm not gonna put anything else like a pore filler or anything because I don't want to compromise it. I just want to see how it works. It does have a pleasant smell though. That does have a pleasant smell. It doesn't smell as strongly as the other. Alright, so I normally let primer sit on for a minute, but I don't have the time to do that today. So I'm going to take my pump here, and I'm just going to go ahead and just put the foundation on, and let's see what happens. Alright, so that's the first side done, and I feel like it's holding on really well with the primer. Still feels tacky to the touch. I'm getting a late start this morning. I didn't even realize that today was Halloween. Last week we had a crazy week, and I haven't even bought Halloween candy yet, and I normally take Halloween candy to work. I don't have any candy in my house right now, so I feel pretty bad, but I mean, it is what it is. You can't change it, but alright, so here's what it looks like on with the Huda Beauty Primer. I feel like it looks the same. It is doing really well in the pores like it has before. I'm just going to put just the tiniest dab right here because I did use a lot of it on the other side and I didn't really use enough on this side. So there we go. That way it matches a little bit better. Primer makes it look a little bit more foundation-y on my face. So that's something to be aware of, but it's doing really well on covering everything up like it did before. This foundation is not transfer proof, so I've already got it here on my shirt. I don't like the way it looks on the forehead right now, but we'll see. Alright, so we've got the primer on at exactly 52 in the morning. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of my makeup on, and then I'll be back to show you what it looks like. Again, I'm going to set it with the setting powder because I need to, and with the setting sprays that I used in my last video, and I'll put the link up top. But this is very tacky still. I can feel it this time, so that's very strange. It wasn't like that with other primers, so this primer is very tacky. It's different. So, okay. Very different. Okay, so I'm going to go into that real quick, and then I'll be right back. Here's the finished look. I think that the makeup looks flawless right now. Other makeups went really well on top of it. I was kind of concerned because of the stickiness of the primer, and then after that, putting the foundation on top of it. The foundation was tacky after that, and it wasn't like that without this primer. So that's something to be aware of. But so far, it looks really nice. It's not gathering in the pores or in the fine lines on my eyes or on my forehead, so that's good because it normally did gather like that. So it does look like I have a foundation on today, so I don't know if this primer is really holding the foundation. Yesterday I could thin it out a little bit more, but today it didn't, so it's really holding on to it. I'm really curious to see how this portion of my face lasts throughout the day, so I'm definitely going to come back and do some check-ins. We'll see how this works, but so far so good. I'm going to head to work, and I'll see you guys in about you know, a couple minutes.
So we are doing
a check-in. It is 1:08 in the afternoon. Focus, there we go. The foundation is doing better with this primer from Huda Beauty. It is starting to break up here, which I don't understand because nothing's really touching that area, and it's definitely gone from where my glasses are, which is pretty normal. My sweater has a little bit of foundation on it here, for more my neck kind of rubs on it. So on the nose, it's definitely breaking up. Can you see that there? In the pores, it's gathering a little bit, and it actually makes my pores look a little bit bigger. On the forehead, it's not gathering so much in the lines that I have there, and on the sides of my face here, it's not gathering as much as it did yesterday. I feel like today that this actually oxidized a little bit on my face with this primer, which is kind of weird because it hadn't been doing that the last couple of weeks that I've been testing it out with other primers, so I don't know why it did that. But I am getting kind of oily at this point, so I am going to spray my face with this Max Fix Plus. And I'm going to just take my beauty blender and just kind of see if I can get it to kind of flatten out a little bit. Since we already know what it looks like at this point, I'm just trying to get it to get me through the rest of the day and not make me look completely crazy, because the foundation it doesn't look great on my skin right now, and it's still not my favorite foundation, to be quite honest. It's not something that I am gonna keep. I think this is something that I am gonna send back to the store and purchase something else because I don't really like it. It's just not my favorite foundation. So now that I've done that, I'm just gonna, I don't know, take a little bit of setting powder and just kind of set those areas. Again, hopefully to get it to stick a little bit more. But I am adding more makeup on top of it, like more setting powder and stuff, because it just looks kind of funky on my skin. This is a foundation that is not for my skin type. Now, anybody else that has oily skin, this may actually work for them, but it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't look really nice on the skin. The foundation primer, let me see what it says. So the details on the primer, it says hydrating makeup base that creates a smooth canvas while gripping makeup, which it totally does because it's kind of a thicker foundation primer and it almost feels like glue, and moisturizing the skin. I do feel like it did kind of moisturize the skin for the most part. And then it says that what it does, it's the silky smooth formula of the Complexion Perfection Pre-Makeup Base works to visibly blur the appearance of pores and fine lines and smooth skin for a fresher, longer lasting, and more flawless makeup look. I feel like it did make the makeup last a lot longer than it did wear yesterday. Yesterday about this time it was already breaking up in the middle of my face, and I don't feel like it's doing that today. So the primer has made the foundation last a little bit longer. So together it says these ingredients both hydrate and smooth skin with a creamy formula. Okay. Can also be used as a lightweight moisturizer, and it leaves the skin soft and nourishing without feeling oily. I disagree with that. I feel like it might feel a little oily on the skin because it's such a thick primer. It's almost like glue. So if you don't put anything over the top of it and set it, then your face is gonna feel pretty sticky and oily for the day. Anyways, that's what my experience was just putting it on this morning. So the ingredients, it does have water. It has silicone type stuff, beeswax. It has shea butter. It has caffeine. It has bayberry, fruit wax. It does have a lot of different ingredients in there, like tons and tons and tons of ingredients. So I'll definitely leave that down below so you know what it has, but it does have a lot of different things in there. And so as far as the primer goes, I feel like the primer has made the foundation last a lot longer. I'm going to test out the primer with other foundations because I do have kind of a lot in here still. I think I can probably get one or two more uses out of the primer if I use it sparingly to see how it works with other foundations, because I do like the tackiness and the stickiness of that primer. I think it works really well, especially for my oily skin. So I guess I will come back one last time for a last check-in to show you what this makeup looks like at the end of the day. But right now it's doing okay. I still am not a big fan of this foundation, just so you know. I feel like the foundation kind of sits on top of my face and enlarges my pores a little bit, so I don't like it for that reason. Now, there's nothing wrong with me not liking this foundation. There are plenty of foundations that I do like, and I'm not going to like them all. This one is just one that's not going to work for me. I've tried it many different ways, and I just can't get it to work. And I feel like if it's not going to work with all the ways that I tried it, I shouldn't have to work that hard for me to love this foundation. So for $40, I think I'm just going to send it back. And I might actually try it tomorrow with the Fenty foundation and see how that works, and then I'll leave an update at the bottom. Since this video won't be coming out until Wednesday, I'll leave that information down at the bottom to let you know how that worked. But all right, this is my check-in, and it's been 6 hours, so I may come back at the end of the day to show you how well it held up, but if not, I should. All right guys, it is now 5 o'clock in the evening. I would show you on my phone, but it's doing an update and it's not letting me do anything. I can't show you the time. You're just gonna have to trust me. It's 5 o'clock in the evening. We're doing the last check-in with the Huda Beauty Foundation and the Huda Beauty Primer, the Complexion Perfection Pre-Makeup Base. So I do think that this base actually held the foundation on really well. I think that if you are going to buy this foundation, it's probably a good idea to purchase the primer with it, because it's such a sticky primer. It really holds on to the foundation like really well. I am obviously, you can see that I've lost some foundation here, but I had a wet cloth over my face for a little bit. We have a fire at work, so it was just so that I could breathe a little bit better. So that's why that's gone. But before I put that on there about an hour ago, the foundation still looked the same way it did when I came in for my first check-in. So it didn't fade away. It's just because I had a wet cloth, and so that's why that's like that. Would I suggest this foundation? I still don't like it. I mean, it's not the worst foundation I've ever tried, but it's also not my favorite foundation. And for $40, it's not something that I can suggest. I do suggest you to go and get a sample and try it out that way. Also, don't forget to get a sample of the primer. I would get a big enough sample so you can try it with your own special primer that you love, and then try it with the Huda Beauty Primer and see which one you like better, to see if you need to buy the Huda Beauty Primer, because it's, you know, primers and foundations work differently on everybody's skin. So this is just how it's worked on my skin. I don't like it. There are plenty of people out there that do like it, but for me, it's not something that I would suggest. So that is my review of the Huda Beauty foundation with the new primer that came with it. I hope this helped. If anything, if you were thinking about buying this foundation and were thinking about trying it with your own foundation primer, I've seen other people do it with their foundation primers that they like, and it worked perfectly for them. But the people that I've seen didn't do like an all-day wear test. They just wore it for a few hours and then came back and said after 4 hours, this is what it still looks like. So I prefer to do an all-day test, because I wear my foundations all day and I want to see how it's going to last. And to be quite honest, this foundation makes me feel kind of uncomfortable, because I can see it doing weird stuff on my face, and it's just not a comfortable foundation for me. I don't like people getting close to me when I have foundations on that look kind of weird on my face, and this is one of them. So I don't like this foundation. I do like the primer. So all right, I hope that was helpful. You guys have a great afternoon. Have a nice Halloween, because this is Halloween day, and I'm going to get ready to go hand out some candy, and I shall talk to you guys Sunday. So have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.